Sergeant Kentuck's boot camp.
They say that's all you have to do to be a good coach is have them run. I'll be a great coach, Kevin.
Oh, boy. Well, you saw how much running it took Long Beach State to claim the Collegiate Rugby Championship here as they're welcomed by their fans on the crossfield 17-7. They beat BYU for the collegiate finals, and that's a lot to be proud of. The Michelob Continental Rugby Classic. It's a title that I think a lot of teams are proud of.
Well, Long Beach State did an excellent job leading into a game where we are going to see some of the finest athletes really in the country going at the rugby title. Pacific Coast Rugby Union, California, synonymous with great rugby in this country. The Eastern Rugby Union, we saw two teams go from that next year, and last year we saw them go against it, and they had great game.
All right, that's coming up next year on Tucson Cable 12, the National Interterritorial 7's. You don't want to miss it. It's the game of the future, the 7-a-side, so stay with us.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Keep watching Tucson Cable 12.
We're back at High Corbett Field, the ITT 7's, and if you thought the last game was exciting, you're in for a great one here. This is 7-a-sides as opposed to 15 players. A lot of open field, a lot of tough plays because you can't really take chances. You give the ball up and a guy can go the length of the field for a try.
Kevin, I promise you, we're not going to see a 17-7 game here. It could be 47-37. We're going to see points. We're going to see tries. We're going to see if someone gains 100 yards in this game, it'll be probably all 7 people on the team.
All right, the Pacific Coast Rugby Union against Eastern Rugby Union. And that's what Scott talked about earlier this evening, was the plastic tee that they've now gone into using more and more in rugby across the country. It's the Pacific Coast Rugby Union in white, the Eastern Rugby Union in red on your screen here.
Dave said he wouldn't be as object as much to the tee if it was made of wood.
If it was made of wood. Controlled here in the early going by the Eastern Rugby Union. Number 6 is Morris Mayfie out of Philadelphia. These players from all over, controlled there by Terrence Titus.
Go! Excellent pass by Titus, and look out here.
Here's a break. Bill Fisher, controlled by the Pacific Coast Rugby Union. Little different strategy in the 7's than there are in the 14.
Well, it's a one-on-one sort of thing, Kevin. When people are in a pack, you can't really bunch up on people, and you have to think of yourself as playing man-to-man defense more like in basketball.
They'll go cross field here. This is Rory Lewis, cuts free, and he'll take it in for the easy try here to open the scoring for the Eastern Rugby Union. You see a lot of stallions like that too, fast guys as opposed to big guys who can just bust it down the field.
Talking to Emil Cygnus, he said he wants guys like Rory Lewis. Rory is out there at 4.5 speed, good leg strength, good upper body, very tough man. He'll probably be one of the guys to look for on the Eagle 7's team.
All right, he's out of Washington, D.C. The score now 4-0. It'll be Will Brewington with the conversion attempt here to put the Eastern Rugby Union on top.
Brewington seems to like that tee to use out there. If you're playing in Australia or one of the European countries, you get to set up a tee like that with sand. So they figure.
There's the conversion try, and it is good to put the ERU, the Eastern Rugby Union, on top with an early 6-0 lead here. A try by Rory Lewis puts them on top, and certainly the Pacific Coast doesn't have anything to worry about at this point. The game should be a high-scoring affair.
This is with the. You have much time to get back into the game here. One try means nothing in this. Even when you get down by 10 points, there's no problem. That's Steve Woodson Gray, U.S. Eagle, and one of the very original Arizona Wildcat Ruggers.
All right, he is the coach of the Pacific Coast Rugby Union. Following the kickoff, it's controlled by Ryan Kelly. You're going to be hearing his name a lot. Ryan Kelly, the former captain of the U of A Wildcats team and a tremendous player.
Ryan now living in Phoenix, going to law school, but seeing a lot of rugby action. Ryan made the Grizzlies 15 junior team. He is now one of the real favorites to make the Eagles with a good performance here tonight. So we could be seeing Ryan Kelly make a name for himself right in front of us.
Ryan Kelly with no number on the back of his jersey. He's just got the patented short hair. Here's control by Eastern Rugby. Marcus Mayfie. Again, it's Rory Lewis. Look at the speed he is displaying. Nobody's going to catch him as he takes it in for the try, circles the goalpost, and touches down with a quick 10-0 lead here. Scoring the try, Rory Lewis. Boy, has he got some speed. Let's take a look at, he just outruns both.
They can't walk down Rory Lewis. They almost got him, and maybe a dive could have done it, but Rory Lewis was leaving those people. You get around one man in 7's, and you're gone. And Rory Lewis shows why. That's why you want quick people doing it.
Just outdistanced both Eric Whitaker and Mark Gordon, and again, it is Will Brewington on for the conversion in an early possible 12-0 lead here. So perhaps this is something to fear, though. Not the fact that you've fallen behind by 12 points, but the name Rory Lewis. The man certainly has blistering speed. There's a chip shot, and he'll drill it. Brewington for the 12-0 lead. Eastern Rugby Union putting on a clinic here against the Pacific Coast.
There's still a lot of game left here, Kevin. I think that Pacific Coast, they were dominating play all day, and a lot of them thought it would be two Pacific Coast sides going against each other. But this is actually the younger Pacific Coast team out here. I think Emil Cygnus, if nothing else, wants to see what his young people can do against a more experienced team.
A long kickoff by Chris O'Brien is controlled in the end zone by the Eastern Rugby Union. It'll be brought out for the...
Now, we won't see people rushing the ball like in 15s. It's more of a control, man-to-man defense sort of thing. Let's see how they try to reverse it field to go to Lewis.
Number 4 is Chris Petrakis. Petrakis with the kick ahead. Coming back to pick it up. Number 1 is...
The rucks and the mauls are a little more survivable in 7's.
Dave Payton is there, and we've got an infraction.
They called him for going offsides, playing the ball, and he was in front of it, so that'll give the Eastern Rugby Union a chance at a kick here. I don't think they'll go for a penalty goal. They have enough points. They want to try to score tries. See Rory Lewis lurking out, far side of the field. Oh, a little reverse.
We see a lot of reverses. Here is Brewington. Brewington, nice pass to Terrence Titus. Titus diving into the end zone for another try, and the Eastern Rugby Union has really put on a clinic here in the early going. Tremendous passing.
They're running right through people, and they're having excellent support. Brewington knew Titus would be coming up there in the gap. Titus, with his years of experience, finding the right place. He still can move it out, even at 33 years old.
In normal rugby, 15 man aside, the two halves of 40 minutes, but that's not the case here with the 7's. They play a lot quicker game.
We're going 8-minute halves here, so we'll be done in a matter of about 20 minutes. Again, they'll do halftime like in the 15s, get enough to say, way to go, guys, have a drink, and we'll be out here playing again.
Brewington will attempt his third conversion, and it is also good. And that quickly, it is 18-0. Eastern Rugby Union. 4-point try by Terrence Titus, and the conversion by Will Brewington, who's been perfect on all 3 conversions. And already the Pacific Coast, well, they have dug themselves a hole here.
We're going to say, even though we've touted the high-scoring potential of 7-a-side rugby, 18-0, you've got to worry a little bit. And we'll see what Pacific Coast does. I don't think they might try to step it up on defense a little bit, try to make some big plays, take in some pressure plays. Here comes the Eastern Rugby Union, another good kick out there.
Quickly sprinting is Marcus Maffei. If you're joining us late, we had the Long Beach State beating BYU in the collegiate finals of the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic. The final 17-7. In that game, Coach David Caldwell of BYU had to leave. He suffered a hit on the head, and it was a little scary because he has had some surgery on his skull, some tumor surgery, so it was very scary. They brought in an ambulance, and he appears to be all right. We hope to further our progress and certainly hope that everything is okay with David Caldwell, the coach of BYU.
Caldwell survived. He looked a little woozy at the beginning, but he was sitting up, and that's a real good sign. It can happen. But you don't hear about the injuries out in rugby like you really do in American football. Surprising how these guys' situations, you just don't hear about the injuries like you do in regular American football.
We've got a brief pause here with a player down in this game. Speaking of injuries, it is number 5, Chris O'Brien. Just still to come, we've got a great featured match. So Waikato
In football.
We've got a brief pause here with a player down in this game. Speaking of injuries, it is number 5, Chris O'Brien. Just still to come, we've got a great featured match. The Waikato Harlequins from New Zealand making their way up to the upper half of the world to take on the U.S. Junior National Team, the U.S. Junior Eagles. And that's, of course, the feeder program to the United States National Team. Team that has done quite well in the last couple of years. Really coming on here in the United States. Here the scrum, limited to just 3 players in the 7-a-sides. They'll lock and try to go for a tight 3 here.
You can see some pretty strange body positions in these little 3-man scrums. I've seen them pick all 3 guys up and just start driving them down the field at times.
Poor passing by Dave Bateman of the Pacific Coast. Pacific Coast in white. The Eastern Rugby Union from the East Coast in red. They lead it 18-0 here in the first half of the 7's.
Pacific Coast has shown a little bit of ability to move the ball here now. I think they are outmanned physically, it looks like, size-wise. And so the Eastern Rugby, since they haven't really had a chance to tie them up, they've been getting big plays. They feel that they can win this way, too. They have the big prop in there, Carlson, Terrence Titus, Bill Fisher. They have big people in there, but a little different style rugby than what you see in the 15s.
Chris Petrakis, the scrum half, quickly now to Charlie Wilkinson. They'll try to get it to Titus or to Rory Lewis. Now it comes to Bill Fisher, and Fisher's got some speed. He's down the sidelines. He's in for yet another try. Another 4 points for the Eastern Rugby Union, and they're almost making a joke out of it.
Bill Fisher showed a little bit of wheels for a big guy. He probably doesn't weigh too much short at 230, and he runs right away from Ryan Kelly, and he was leaving him at the end. That's the kind of play that you want from your big people, because even though this is a fast game, you do need big people who can run.
Nice dummy on behalf of Chris Petrakis, who faked and then pitched to Fisher, who was going the opposite way. And now Will Brewington will be called upon for his 4th conversion attempt of the evening and to ensure a 24-0 lead. Right now they lead at 22-0, and this one a little bit farther and a little bit off to the right, a little bit more difficult than the 3 early attempts he's had.
I was going to say, this will be a little bit of a challenge here for Brewington. In fact, he's had to kick off him from angles, but if he makes this one in, they need a good foot. He looked like he hit that one a little bit short.
A little bit short, and it'll remain 22-0. 22-0, the Eastern Rugby Union putting on a clinic here in the 7's, the first half of the Michelob Continental ITT 7's Championship. Pacific Coast a little disappointing here in the first half, Scott.
Well, you just don't know what's going to happen. Once the team can get rolling, it's a lot like Canadian football. Once you start getting those scores down, you can get down pretty fast. If the Pacific Coast could get a try or so here before the first half, they might be in it. But 2 big plays by Rory Lewis, and it's been Katie bar the door for the Eastern Rugby Union. They have shown excellent athletic ability, and they are the more experienced side, probably average age of 26. And you get better with age as you play rugby.
They lead it 22-0, and Katie bar the door.
Katie bar the door. That's an old rugby song.
Okay, Katie bar the door. And we've got the end of the first half here in the 7's, and boy, it's been a disappointing one for Pacific Coast. The Pacific Coast Rugby Union trailing 22-0 here in the early going. Rory Lewis with a couple of tries. Bill Fisher, as well as Terrence Titus, scoring for the Eastern Rugby Union as they lead it 22-0. We'll keep it right here at the High Corbett Field, Tucson Cable 12, bringing you all the action tonight. We've, of course, got our featured match coming up a little bit later on as the Eastern Rugby Union discusses their great success in the first half. Taller, bigger, faster players.
I think that, like I say, they got a couple of big breaks in the beginning. We haven't really been able to see what the Pacific Coast is going to put on, and I'm sure that when it comes down to inviting people to camp, they'll take 30 people to a U.S. Eagle 7's camp here in about 2 months, and a lot of them will be guys we don't see in this game, but some of them will be players that we see on the Pacific Coast Union side. Mark Carlson is a staple from that team. Mark Gordon on the outside from Phoenix. Chris O'Brien was an Eagle 15s member. We just haven't, these people have not had the ball enough to show what they're going to do. So I would think in the second half that Pacific Coast, if nothing else, a lot like the BYU situation, are we going to lay down and quit and have these people score 40 points on us, or are we going to come back and do some things? I think we'll see some uncharacteristic 7's play, a lot more hitting and a lot more charging defense by the Pacific Union.
Steve Gray, the coach of Pacific Coast Rugby Union, has got to be a little bit disappointed. They trail it 22-0 here in the first half. Of course, these halves divided in.
You could almost call this a tea break here when they have halftime on one of these things. There he is, the man who knows it all, Lenny Rubin, Tucson Cable 12's owner. You wondered who owned Cable 12? There he is, the brain trust of the whole thing.
Just don't give him a hot dog with mustard or it'll wind up all over that shirt. A little disappointing for the Pacific Coast Rugby Union here. They trail at 20-0. We begin the second half of play. Eastern Rugby controlling the kick. And it comes high to Bill Fisher, who just is wrapped up there and will redo it. Kicking off a tee as they get the plastic tee off the field.
The people I've seen kick off the tee this weekend have not made any field goals. I've not seen it help anybody. I think that pounding up the dirt or the ground or anything seems to be what the people are used to. I don't think the tee will last. In Canada, they say they like it.
Here's Dave Bateman, quickly to Chris O'Brien. Back to O'Brien. He's with the red hair, and he's dragged out of bounds by Will Brewington. Brewington with the foot has done the job for the Eastern Rugby Union, and here he's doing it defensively.
Great pass by Bateman there, right over his head. Well done, knew where the support would be. You really see those kind of finesse things done here in the 7th.
Quickly on the line, and it comes to Fisher. Back to Brewington. To number 5, Charlie Wilkinson. Wilkinson wheeling. They try the reverse. They try to get the players going one way and then reverse it. Here's an intercept by number 4, Dave Bateman. Bateman working his way in, and he'll take it right in for the nice try. And the Pacific Coast Rugby Union is on the board by a sweet move by
Dave Bateman, the scrum half. The crowd was yelling for a pass forward here, but Bateman catches up to it as it was lateraled and right between the posts. So he's got to like this for the conversion. Chris O'Brien will step right in front of the post, knock it through, so we're not doing too bad here. It's 22-6.
That quickly, the Pacific Coast Rugby Union is back in it. And Scott, in your opinion, was it a bit of a forward pass?
I thought that was real questionable. The referee might have thought of it as an advantage situation in the beginning, but to make the score 22-6, I think referees want to see a game too.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We're in the second half here. 22-6 the score, and that's the Eastern Rugby Union leading the way here.
But with a chance to hang on to the ball a little bit, we did see some athletic ability from the Pacific Coast people. Eric Whitaker, 22-year-old from San Francisco, showed some good running ability and good court savvy, I think, as Lute Olson would say, to savvy to have people hanging on him and still looking for who is in support and to get a good ball away. So that's got to look good for his chances to make the Eagles.
All right, Will Brewington will kick off here for the Eastern Rugby Union. Controlled by Terrence Titus, and he's got a break here. And look at him high-step it easily for the try. There was nobody going to catch him. And even got it up a bit like Walter Payton.
Terrence eats up some ground with those long legs. Let's see him go. 1, 2, 3, and from the 22, he doesn't take but 4 or 5 strides to get on in. And you see how he doesn't get his feet up in the back. That's how you get tackled in rugby. He keeps them low to the ground while he's still eating up a lot of ground. Those young boys, you'd think they'd be able to get the old man that outages some of them by 10 years.
33-year-old out of Washington, D.C., Terrence Titus. And he's put him on top here at this point, 26-6. And the Will Brewington will be called upon to try the conversion for about 24 meters and to the left, and he'll get it up, and no good. It was a little bit short and a little bit to the left, so 26-6 is our score. The Eastern Rugby Union controlling this game from start to finish. They've had the speed of Rory Lewis, who opened up the scoring in the early going, and now Terrence Titus has added his second try of the game, high-stepping it.
Terrence Titus, really people did not expect him to be here and competing like he is today. Done very well. It's throwing his body all over the ground. what makes this game great. People who can still come out, the guys like Terrence Tice who are older but do real well.
Chris Petrakis just running out of bounds with it, and the ball will come over to the Pacific Coast. Pacific Coast in white, the Eastern Rugby Union in red. They lead it 26-6. And there you see Terrence Titus, the number 3. He's the old man out there at 33.
There's Ryan Kelly, number 8 for the PC, Pacific Coast Rugby Union. We haven't called his name much tonight, and he'll definitely want to get in there and get some advantages. Ryan, former high school wrestler who has amazing speed and really a sure-handed guy. Reminded me a lot football-wise of Chuck Cecil, smart and physical.
We're in the second half here of the 7's, and
but the physical people right now are the ERU. They're just dominating this game throughout. I think the younger PC Pacific Coast people might be a little intimidated.
Nice dummy here by Mark Carlson, takes it quickly down, and it comes back to John Duffy. Duffy.
Nice pass by Ryan Kelly.
Eric Whitaker. Whitaker takes it on in, gets to the middle and touches down for the try, and Ryan Kelly was the real key in that whole try.
Ryan Kelly, sure-handed catch here. Here's the big play, just heads-up play by the PCRU, as long as you turn the ball loose, no matter what play.
There's Kelly, who throws it out to Whitaker, and Whitaker just outruns Bill Fisher of the Eastern Rugby, takes it in for the touch, and down 26-10 now. O'Brien will drill the uprights to make it 26-12.
Ryan really, again, another guy with court savvy, could have thrown it forward easily. That's one of those things, the guy is wide open. That's the hardest kind of guy to hit.
A lot of scoring here in this 7-a-side.
Hits it to make it 26-12. I guess touchdown a minute offense doesn't really apply. It's about touchdown a minute, touchdown every 30 seconds.
So it'll be Eric Whitaker getting the credit for the try for the PCRU, the Pacific Coast Rugby Union, and now the ball will be controlled by the Eastern Rugby. And at this point, late in the second half, certainly they've got to be feeling comfortable, and you almost sense that Bill Fisher letting Whitaker take it into the end zone for the try, and I think they're feeling a little bit comfortable.
Well, I think if the PCRU could get a try here within the next 2 minutes, like run this ball down here, we might have a little bit of a ball game.
Boy, the speed of Lewis. Rory Lewis, he picks up the loose ball, kicks it to touch here right in front of us, and he did a great job of kicking it.
Good play made by a fan over here. Saved Kevin.
And
Pacific Coast now have a chance to put it in a little bit here. I could say if they score here in the next minute or so, we might have a little bit of a ball game, but they do need to, they haven't let it go into Roy Lewis's hands this half, and that's been to everybody's advantage.
It'll be John Duffy with the ball in the lineout. They try to go cross field for O'Brien. Chris O'Brien, number 5.
Little knock on there. O'Brien played it forward with his hands. They were kind of see what happened. Brian got up, so they called the advantage rule. Now this PC, the Pacific Coast people have really been dominated in these mini scrums. Watch the bigger, faster East Coast just move them out.
Quickly it comes free. They're counting down the clock on the far side. Charlie Wilkinson, he's number 5. Just kick it for field position. Back to pick it up, Dave Bateman, and it's really a one-on-one situation here as he's checked by Will Brewington. Back to Kelly, to Whitaker. Whitaker's got a man on the outside. Is that Mark Gordon? Gordon back to Whitaker with a nice dummy move, but he was certainly ahead. It was a pass ahead.
Forward pass there, just the kind of composure loss that would happen in, that was happening to BYU last game, just happened there. Good ball handling when you're down. You can't make any mistakes that way.
It's been an exciting 7's, the 7's championship, the interterritorial championship, the Eastern Rugby Union in red controlling this one in the early going lead at 26-10. They control the ball here. It comes free. Petrakis back to Wilkinson. Charlie Wilkinson is number 5. They'll try to get outside to Rory Lewis. He's number 7.
Look out
If he gets
here.
it, nice dummy move, cuts back, spinning move, tries to spin free, and it's Terrence Titus picking up the loose ball as he's dummied by Mark Carlson.
Terrence Titus carrying people with him.
Petrakis down the sidelines, and it's Charlie Wilkinson just taking it in, and he's is he pushed out of bounds? Pushed out of bounds, pushed into touch at about the 2-meter line.
Pushed him into touch there about a foot before he hit the try line. There, ERU was working some excellent ball in close to the sidelines. That's what you have to do. They had 3 people touching the ball within the dotted line marker there, and that's what you have to have, excellent ball handling to win
John
these sort
Duffy
of
to
games.
Whitaker. Whitaker with the back pass to Mark Carlson. Carlson to Dave Bateman, who's got to jump over his own man. And we've got an infraction here on behalf of number 6, Marcus Maffei, and now another referee is calling him over.
Great play by Fisher there on the pass from PC's Whitaker. He just jumped right into the gap there. He knew where the ball was coming. Fisher, great sense to do that sort of thing. It's Ryan Kelly down on the field. Ryan getting up. I think his pride might have been a little bumped there more than anything, not catching that pass.
Bateman will control the ball for the Pacific Coast. And looks like a knock on, and it's knocked into try. It'll go over to the Eastern Rugby Union, who have just won it as the whistle sounds. They've won it quite convincingly, 26-10. It was big Terrence Titus with a couple of tries, as well as Rory Lewis. Don't go away. We've still got more rugby action to come your way from High Corbett Field, our featured event, the Harlequins from Waikato, New Zealand, taking on the U.S. Junior Nationals. Stay right where you are. Welcome back to High Corbett Field in Tucson. We are live on Tucson Cable 12 with a tremendous evening in rugby, just capped there by the ITT 7's. We had the Eastern Rugby Union, many of the players from Washington, D.C., scoring a big victory over the Pacific Coast Rugby Union, 26-12. Terrence Titus with a couple of tries in that game. Rory Lewis with some tremendous speed, also scoring for the Eastern Rugby Union. And the Pacific Coast Rugby Union coming up a little bit short in this 7's. But still to come, we've got our featured event. And you want to sit back and enjoy this one coming up in just a few moments. The Waikato Harlequins from New Zealand. They feature some of the top players in the world, including Warren Gatlin, the captain, who is a member of the All Blacks team from New Zealand, against the U.S. Junior National Team, the Junior Eagles, the feeder team for the national team here in the United States. That's all coming up. You want to sit back and enjoy this one. We'll be right back on Tucson Cable 12.